Hey guys, I'd like to make a real attempt here at following through on the Bazille Cookbook series. Basil, still not sure how to say it. I did an introductory video a while back going through the contents of the book and some of the sounds in it and whatnot, and kind of describing what it is and where to get it. And I'll put a link to that video in the description. This video is the first in the series of actually going through each sound and taking a look at the points that he brings out in the book, as well as the wiring and whatnot that accompanies the patch that he doesn't talk about. Because I guess like any good teacher, he's going to make you work for it. The book doesn't map out every detail of every sound. It kind of gives you the highlights and helps you explore different features of the sound. But that being said, we'll get started and go through it. So I'm going to get started by opening the cookbook by clicking on the UHI symbol, opening up the docs folder, and then clicking on the Bazille Cookbook, and we'll open it up. And like I said, I've done an introduction on this, kind of just talking about the book in general. But in this case, we're gonna go right to work. Let me scroll through this. There was Howard. Alright, here we are at the tutorial. We're going to start with the 8-bit roller. Don't need to see that. And for those of you on smaller devices, I'm going to read this out to you if you can't see it or whatnot. It says 8-bit roller. Take a closer look at map 1 by clicking on its plus button. Making repetitive maps is easy, although it means right-clicking on the map several times. Load the initial patch and restrict the size of map 1 to only 5 values. Select shapes and then ramp, and then switch back to 128 values or steps. The shape is automatically repeated to fill the entire map. Note this only works with the ready-made shapes, and any edits made before switching back to 128 values will not be repeated. So I guess it's only working with the included shapes. So that's it for this particular written tutorial, and what he's trying to do there is, I think, just give you the highlight of the essence of the patch, what makes, this patch interesting, or what he's trying to show you with this patch, not breaking down every little detail of it, which is what these videos are for. So that's what we're going to do here. So I'm going to get rid of this and go through what he just described. So I have this in the Gear Porn GUI, which is recommended. This is the original. I've become kind of used to the Gear Porn. So if it looks a little bit different and you're not familiar with Gear Porn, just switch it over. Otherwise, I'll, again, try to be really descriptive on what I'm seeing and doing, so that even if you can't see all these little things on whatever device you're looking at least you have some idea of what's happening, which is the point of all of these. So he says, go over here to the mapping generator 1, which is over here down on the bottom right. We're going to click on the plus sign, and that makes this bigger. Well, first off, let's close that. We want to start from the initial position, then we want to do that. And that's map generator 1. I'm going to go in here and just reset it. And then I'm going to select 5. And then we're going to go in here and pick a shape, and we're going to call it ramp. Okay, and this is just an ascending pattern. Now he wants us to go to 128, and that basically repeats, right? All right, not so interesting at this point. So that's what he wanted to show us. He wanted to show us how to set up that mapping generator to duplicate things and to make it be the basis of your preset or your sound. So now let's go take a look at the actual sound set, or the sound from the sound set. Open up the, oh boy. There it is, tutorial. Oh, I lost it. Eight-bit roller. So we open that up. Now I'll press a key. And we see we've got some connections here. So let's go back and take a look at his mapping generator and see what's happening. First off, we can see that it's progressing from right to left, which that seems backwards to me, but we'll leave it the way it is for now. And also we can tell by listening to it it seems this mapping generator seems to be affecting our pitch, and it seems to be starting fast and slowing down. Okay, so now let's take a look at what we've got going on with our patching and what's making this sound. It doesn't look like any of the filters involved, and we're coming straight out of oscillator 1 to the output. The phase distortion is being modulated by envelope 1, and that's also going to be our output amplifier envelope as of right here on the volume. If you're not familiar with Bazille at all, this might be a little tough, but once you get into it and you're sitting side by side, you know, with something like this or the cookbook, or get your hands on it, you'll understand a little bit more. So anyway, we can see that our map generator from its output is connected to our tune. That's where we're getting the changes in pitch. Now, the speed, starting fast and slowing down, if we look at our LFO over here, any of the LFOs don't seem to be connected through wires. But if we take a look over here on the mapping generator itself, the source for the map quantize is LFO1 triangle. So go back over here to LFO1, and that would be this output if it was drug over here, you know, through physical wire or whatever. So, and we can confirm this by changing our rate. So that in fact is what's controlling that speed. Now, let's take a look at this for a minute. button here, it says wave, selects between these three waveforms because it said it was connected to the triangle, so that's this point. So actually we are ramping down because this is turned all the way to the left, which is using this wave shape, which is a just a ramp that starts high and goes to 0. If we were to switch that over to the other ramp, which starts at 0 and goes to high, I have to speed that up. Now you can see how so we can see that that's definitely controlling the speed, and he's choosing to start at a faster speed and then slow down. Now notice on my wave, my envelope here, not my wave, but my envelope, that there's no sustain and maximum decay. So that decay is my time from when I press the key to where the sound disappears. So if I reduce that, and that's not controlling the LFO, that's controlling the output envelope. It just actually disappears before you get to hear the entire waveform of the LFO get to 0. And because this envelope is also controlling our phase distortion, we can take a listen to that. Here's what the envelope would sound like with no modulation. And then as we increase that, you can hear that the timbre of the sound has more high frequency contact at the beginning, which makes sense because if you were to just manually move this knob, you can hear the high frequency content when it's wide open. And then of course as we pull it down, which is what this control is doing. This amount of modulation with this envelope is basically slowly turning this down from here to there based on the decay time. So basically let's zero that out. And then just turning it down. Now we leave that at 0 and turn that up so that it does that motion. It goes from this point to that point. You know, if we wanted it to go the other way, then there's a couple ways you could do that. But that's not the point of this video. This video we're talking about this 8-bit roller from Howard Scarr's cookbook. So a couple other things to just kind of look at and take note of throughout this patch, or with this patch, is the gate, for example. This is on the LFO. When I push down a key, it starts the cycle of that ramp wave going from maximum to 0. And if I wanted to put that at a random, then what's going to happen? It's going to start at different points of that ramp. So it might not always start at full volume. It might start somewhere in between. It might start at 0. That sounded like it was close to 0. That sounded like it was closer to the higher point. So that's basically what's happening in the 8-bit roller patch. I can't think of anything or haven't noticed anything else that really needs attention here. If I miss something, please let me know. I'm not a master at this sense, but I know it pretty well. And I think it's a great place to start. And I think Howard's point here was to introduce us to the mapping generator and how to manipulate it a little bit to do some simple things. And I'm sure it'll get more complex as it goes. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this, and I look forward to getting through this book one patch at a time. Hope to see you soon. Thanks for watching.